Hi everyone, it's Nat. Hope you're all doing well. So I'm really excited tonight because I finally finished my design team project for Lavender Blu for January. So this one uses the printable Patchwork Fabric papers, and I will put a direct link to those down below. Also, I will put a link to Lavender Blu's social media as well, so check it out. Now, this one is a hardback cover as usual. I think it was a Reader's Digest possibly. Looks about the same size. Oh, maybe not, it's a bit smaller. So yeah, a bit smaller than a Reader's Digest. So what I've done is fabric covered it. It's old curtain material that I got in a random bag of material from the secondhand store. And I have used some of her beautiful papers, and what I've done is just stitched, sloppy stitching. You probably call it slow stitching, but I call it sloppy stitching for me anyway. And then I've done some blanket stitch right around the edges, and I really love the way it's turned out. Don't look too close because it's not very neat. It's probably the second time I've ever tried blanket stitch, so, but I love it and it looks really cool. You wouldn't think that it was paper. So, and that was printed out on your matte photo paper. So I've done the same with the back, and then just done a little stamp that says handmade with love. So it is 3 signatures, just over, it's about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches thick. I didn't want to bulk it out much because it's bulky enough, and it sits just nicely now, I reckon, and there's still room to grow and put a tie around when necessary. So, and I've used some of my beautiful blue lace that I got second hand as well. So that's the inside. It's just got some blank blue paper there, and I've used this kit all over it. I just love it. I will use this kit over and over and over again, just because you can do so much by cutting out all the bits. So, and in there I've put, did a tutorial on me making these, so I'll try and remember to link that below. A little dress form there. And that is out of the kit paper as well that I cut that. I used just a die cut dress form to trace around to get the shape. So, and these are little bags. I'm pretty sure Kerry gifted them to me, and they're beautiful, and I love the colour, and I thought that'd look really nice slipped in there as well. So that's the first page, and as I haven't embellished these pages much at all. I don't know if I've embellished any of these pages because they are so pretty just as they are. So what I have done is, with the kit pages that are the covers for the signatures, I have on the inside, to make it look more vintage, just stuck some secondhand dress pattern. So I stuck that down with glue stick. So there's some little bits where it's sort of come up, but then I've gone around the edges and sewed, so it will stay on quite well. And that looks great, and it feels really nice too. And then I had some vintage measuring tape that was blue that goes really well, so I stuck some of that on there. Some more of the kit, and I just did a fabric hinge there so it's a flip up. So there's not a lot of pages in it, but I've left a lot of blank spots for writing on. So I read a Donnelly flip tuck spot, so you can write in there. And then I use my die cut to cut out a spool, and that one can be journaled on the back of. And I cut out some fabric as well, so it's like blue cardstock with some fabric stuck on. It's got spools on it, so that slips in there. So we've got some tea-dyed ledger paper. I've got some vintage dressmaking pattern papers. So all these too, the dressmaking ones, would have come out of the recycle bin that I pick up on my book hauls. So just showing this flyaway, we don't need him in our film. Then some tea-dyed music paper, just blank music paper, so another good journaling spot. That's a new stamp that I've recently got. I'm pretty sure that was from AliExpress. A little tiny fabric flip, which I think is really cute, so you can just lift that up and still use that spot for journaling. I'll show you a bit closer. They're all fabrics that I've got from Spotlight that are in here. I'm pretty sure they're all the ones that would have been when you can get your fat flats or flat flats. I always say both so I don't get it wrong. Yeah, for a 10 for 10 or whatever, I always go looking for pretty ones like that, or in their remnant bin. So that's the middle of the first signature, and that's one of the printable pages as well. Absolutely beautiful. I tell you, I could have sewed around every bit of it just for fun, but the journal would never have gotten finished, so I thought I'll just leave that as is, and I just sewed around the edges. Also, if I sewed on every bit, you wouldn't be able to do much journaling on this, so that was that one. And this one I've tied off so it hangs down in the middle, and I've just let it hang. Now I've used a whole lot of your freebie button cards in this, and I have not put buttons on them simply because I didn't want to bulk this one out, and I want that whoever gets it to still be able to write on it. So if they want to stick buttons on or something, they can. If not, that can be used as a journaling spot. And this is a little tuck spot in here as well. So they're just the other sides of the ledger and pattern paper. A bit more of the kit. Made a belly band, and I used this page, I printed out at half size, like A5 size, and I've just sewed around it, put your pattern paper on the inside, and just made a little booklet out of it. So I've used, it's all like second-hand offcuts, so the patterns that I've been using, I used some of the paper with the explanations, directions on. Some of the offcuts of my ledger paper, offcut of some dyed paper that my mum gave me, which has beautiful imprints from the baking tray. It's got a bit of an arrow there because the pattern had actually been used, so whoever used it had drawn on it, but I didn't mind that arrow. You can still journal around it. It is a junk journal, so more ledger paper. So that's that little booklet. So that gives a lot more journaling space in this book as well. Then I made a pocket with this little piece. So these were all A4 pages. All the bits you see were A4 pages of the quilt paper, but I have just chopped the bits off that I like the look of to make pockets and that. And this is a bit out of one of the pattern books that I had that would have been in the recycle bin. Absolutely gorgeous little pictures that had in it. So I cut them out and just backed them. I backed them with the used pattern paper as well, just to use it up. Rather do that than see it go to waste. So that's a gorgeous little journaling card. So that's the first signature. Now this is the second one. So again, I have backed it with the pattern paper and sewed around it. And then this, in one of my op shop grabs, I've got a few bits that someone had already started paper piecing, do you call it? So it's got the paper in it, the hexagon, and then they fold the fabric over it and have just like roughly stitched it on. But I thought, you know, I look at these pieces, I really love the fabric, but I wasn't sure what I'd do with them. And then I thought, well, that would be a great little tuck spot, and it's got another one of the little button cards in there. So just some tea-dyed paper, another bit that I cut out, the flower. And that was made from the kit as well, another little journaling card. And like I said before, these would have been in an A4 page, so it's just great how many bits you can cut out and use in different ways. Now this is just, you know, rather than wasting my scraps or having too many hanging around, I tried to use a lot of the scraps. I haven't got much of the kit left. I've used most of the bits. A few little shreds, that's about it, and I've done a little bit of stamping there. Another one of my spool die cuts. It's a beautiful paper that my mum had made and given to me. Goes nicely because it's a light pink colour, so it suits really well. Now this I've just stuck on. I didn't make a pocket because that's light enough that that can be journaled on. And I basically covered up the writing on this side because I didn't want both sides with writing. I thought I'd make that more journaling space. Music paper. So I had some fabric measuring tape, which I've put up there. Another kit piece, some of my coffee dyed tablecloth. You probably see that in almost everything I make at the moment. It was one of those huge tablecloths, and I've got stacks of it, but I love cutting it up into little pieces and sticking them everywhere. So that's another little bit from the kit that I cut out, folded up, just made a little journaling spot and did a stamp on it. It's the middle page, middle signature. This one I have sewed in at the back so it's not dangling down the threads. because I like the look of it without for this, and I've just stuck some ribbon around the outside to make it sort of look like the outside of an actual quilt. Beautiful pages. It's a bit more cut out than I made into a pocket with some more of my tea-dyed tablecloth. And this I would have showed the other day on a video. What I'll do is try and remember to link, don't know if I'll be able to link the one where I showed this, I'll see, but I will be able to link the one where I show the papers so you can see what they look like before I started hacking them up. So yeah, this was a piece that was in that shape that I cut, and I cut the triangle out and thought it really looked like an envelope, so I just used a book page to back it. And made a little envelope and used a bit of pattern and the old pattern paper to make this little book that you can put little notes in. I just used my button punch to punch out a little button. Just having a bit of trouble getting them in there now. There, that's better. So a little button, and I just tied some string in there, and that helps close it and keep it closed. Be careful putting that in. So that's another vintage pattern paper, or direct sewing direction paper, and there's another offcut, because I love them. It just goes so nicely to decorate the page a little bit. Makes it not so boring having these blank pages. Some more of my mum's dyed paper, and it got this imprint on it which looks like it's stamped but it's not, but I love that, so I left that there and just did a little scrappy with some of my fabrics, a little bit of the kit and the end bit of my measuring tape. Actually, yes, I can link the tutorial where I showed the envelope, because I made these dresses now that I remember, so I will link that as well down below so you can see how I did all of that. And this dress I've left open up the top so you can stick something little in there as a little tuck spot. And then there's a little side tuck here as well. Now that's another tuck spot made with the kit, and this is as well made with the kit, and I decided just to make it into a really big tag. And then on the other side it's got pattern paper, and I've cut out one of these butterflies and stuck it there as well. Now I think he goes at the back here, so he slips in there. It's a bit of a tight fit, that one, but he does go in there. There we go. And then the last signature, I'll just show you the beautiful papers. Last signature, I've made a little side tuck there, and this journaling card. I've just stuck a bit of the pattern directions on there, and that I've cut out of one of the patterns and just stuck it there. It's just so cool. You can cut all these different shapes and that out of it. I've left all the cotton dangling, which is something I never do either, so that was different for me. Yeah, just a bit of fabric there and a couple of stamps. It's very vintage, that paper, but I love that page, how it says ABC of sewing, so I thought I'd leave that there. Another offcut. It's not a tuck or anything, it's just embellishment. So as you can see, there is like a fair bit of journaling space. Now there's a belly band with the kit page, and I've just put some of this, I don't know if you call it crocheted lace or whatever on there, which I love. And then I made another journaling card. And then this is like the middle page of this signature, so I've backed that with some directions and made a little tuck, and then cut out some of the pattern with the little dresses and made a little journaling card. Beautiful picture for the middle, and I've done some crazy stitching or whatever around there. It's the first time I've actually done it all wobbly and liked it like that, so... Oh, sorry, that was the dog. I'm gonna have to stop her doing that. She does it almost every video. Yeah, she knows how to get me off. That's a vintage tag that I've just stamped on, and I coloured it in with some ink, water sort of coloured it, and it's just got a little bit of offcut there for some colour. Some more fabric measuring tape, just an offcut there, a little bit of a pattern piece there, Just like using up all these little scrappy bits. Little scrappy bit of tablecloth or doily, and another scrap of the paper. Then that's the end of that signature. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we've got this page first. So that's the real vintage page, and I had this die cut that someone had gifted me. I absolutely love it. The colour didn't match in here at all, so I thought, why not use it as a stencil? And that turned out absolutely beautiful. I think I'm going to keep that die cut just for stenciling now, because I love the way that turned out. And then I just cut some of the squares out of one of the page and put it there on the pattern. I love that too. Just beautiful paper it is. And then this is the back page. So another pocket. I've sewed around all of these pages. You know, all the kit pages pretty well. Most of them are sewed around. Another button card. And then another one of beautiful Kerry's little envelopes. And in there I've got another one of my spools that I've just cut out of the pattern paper. So absolutely gorgeous kit, that one. Loved using it. As I said, I'll be using that one a lot because I really like the way this has turned out, and I've got so many ideas through using it. So thank you very much, Fiona, for letting me use that kit this month. And as I said, I'll put all her links down below, and if you like the kit, go and check it out. Absolutely beautiful it is. Take care and have a good time. Happy crafting. See you later, everyone.